Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce you to the Tech in Motion segment here. You have myself as your host today, Mr. Security Awareness, also known as Dominick Frazier, and I'll let the guest introduce himself here. So, if you'd be so kind, sir, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Brooks. Work for one of the larger healthcare IT companies here in Kansas City. So I'm just here to sit in with my man Dominick here and have a quick conversation about security or whatever IT topics we decide to get into today.
Well, ain't nothing else but to do it. So I'll ask you first and foremost, Mr. Brooks, can you give us a little bit about your title and exactly what you do in the healthcare IT space?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll just say I work for a Cerner Corporation here in Kansas City. My official title there is sales engineer. My focus is on the infrastructure sales, which consists of networking equipment, security solutions, virtualization, storage. So basically what we do, we just try to make sure that those areas are sound for our healthcare clients.
All right, so you use virtualization and security architect, I think I heard in there, and I'm just going to play, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't catch all that. So can you tell me, as an average Joe, what does that even mean?
Right, well, for the average Joe, I mean, obviously, anytime you go into any type of health organization, you want to make sure that your information is secure. I know a lot of us have the experience of signing the HIPAA forms, HIPAA releases, just to make sure that that the organization is maintaining that information, and they basically give us that documentation, say that they will not share it with anyone. So from a technology standpoint, once all your information hits those systems, one of the key things that the organization must do is secure that information.
So really what you're saying is when I go to visit a doctor, when I go get my next scripts, if the solutions that you're working or involved with, that information is what you are engaged in and making sure it stays secure. Is that right?
Correct.
So can you tell me a little bit more, like what actions have to be taken in order to ensure that information stays secure and in the right hands of the right parties?
Oh man, that's a long list. But
we got time.
Right, yeah, definitely. As most security people would say, it definitely starts with physical security.
Okay.
You want to make sure that the information isn't easily accessible. People just can't walk up with your computers. If they happen to get their hands on that computer or storage device, is it encrypted?
Now I'm going to pause you right there because you used a buzzword and you just don't let it roll off your tongue like It's no big deal. But again, so you said encryption.
Correct.
What does that truly mean to the average person?
Average person, it just means that your data is not easily readable. It's scrambled, if you would. Just imagine a page full of words, and somehow you can magically mix them all together so they're...
Oh, word jumbles.
Right, there you go.
Okay, I can get down with the word jumble, you know, in the Sunday paper. That's my juice right there.
Basically what it is with a bunch of math behind it. But
okay.
Yeah, just making the information extremely hard to identify, read, and associate with a particular individual.
Okay, so we got the data, we're encrypting it, we got some physical security elements, and making sure that the devices themselves aren't easily accessible by individuals. So you're talking like locked doors, you're talking maybe some security cages, some key access, whether it be a physical like traditional key or a key card as well, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we got some physical barriers put in place. What's next? What's after that?
After the physical, and we talked a little bit about the software, more of the encryption, at that point, you're pretty just playing defense, right? You want to make sure that no one can penetrate or access your computer network that has all this sensitive information from the outside and also from the inside. Sometimes you may have employees that may be up to no good who may want to maybe check out what's going on with their neighbor down the street, or maybe a celebrity comes into the hospital organization and they get a call from TMZ, and TMZ will say,
try to get that paper too, huh?
I want to give you some money for this celebrity's information. So you got to have safeguards internally as well as externally to do your best to minimize that from happening.
So you said defense, which now when I think of defense, I think sports, and in every sports game or competition, that means that every good defense still gets scored on sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're talking about security and defense, there has to be some times where the defense doesn't necessarily hold up against the efforts that are put up against it.
Correct.
What can you share with us about what happens in those instances?
So in the event of a data breach, data breaches happen all the time, unfortunately. I know many of you may have received new debit cards in the mail. from your bank that just says your information has been, shared unwillingly. The big
That's a good
Equifax,
wordplay. Unwillingly shared. Okay.
The big Equifax issue that happened last year. I know I was personally affected with it. I'm sure as some of our audience, viewers have also been aware of. So,
And if you haven't checked your Equifax, that's your credit score. So if you aren't working in that line of life, you might want to get on point with that to double check and see what your Equifax.
Equifax.
Okay, Equifax is with a F, not with a Q. My apologies. Make sure that is all accurate information that you have there on your Equifax report.
Right. So, like you said, things do happen. You can't protect everything 100% unless you want to unplug it from the wall. So there's other regulations and processes that you, as an organization, must follow in the event of a data leak, data breach, data theft.
Okay. And your line of work is, are you aware or do you have any engagement in the actions that take place when there is a leak of data or a breach of data?
Me personally, no. But organizations, they do partner with official security companies that can help them mitigate those breaches and potential
Again, use another word.
Damages.
You said mitigate.
Yes.
Now, this one I do know.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that our audience members, they make sure that when we say mitigate, what does that mean?
Well, for me, mitigation, especially in this particular context, is okay. So something has happened. What can we do to make sure that it's still not ongoing? So has the leak stopped? Have we plugged the leak?
Okay.
And then at that point, what is our strategy as far as notifying those individuals impacted? So you're really just kind of mitigating or controlling the situation as best you can.
Okay.
And making sure that you, of course, abide by the laws of that industry. In this particular case, healthcare. There's certain things that you need to do to make sure that you follow the law.
Okay. Now, for individuals who may be curious about what type of data they have or if their data has been impacted, do you have any recommendations on first steps that individuals should take to find out?
Oh man, that's a tough one. As an individual, unfortunately, many times we don't really think of that. But from a personal standpoint, I always make sure that you are changing passwords that you have access to. Make sure that you do keep documents at home.
Is that check like the passwords on your phone too? Because
On your
some folks
phone.
out there, they got to make sure that other individuals don't look at the different information that may be coming through from different sources. If you catch my drift, you want
Right.
to keep that cycling through. So,
Yep.
Okay.
So that goes for your personal. So as you mentioned, your banking information, personal cell phone. Even though everything seems to be cell phone seems to be the conduit through everything these days.
Yes.
But yeah, just be more conscious. Be a little bit smarter about what you do with your information. But as far as your data being compromised or breached from a larger organization, unfortunately, there's really not much you can do because even though it's your data, you don't own it when it's on somebody else's system.
Time out. So it's my information.
Correct.
But you're telling me I don't own my own information that a company has.
No.
I need some clarification. I need to understand that better because it's about me.
Right.
But you're telling me I don't own what's about me.
Right.
Help me understand that, please.
For me, when I say own it, that means I can go access it. I can dictate what happens to it or with it.
Okay.
So in a sense, you somewhat can dictate, like we said, with the HIPAA release forms and everything like that. But you can't go in and dictate how that information is protected. You can't go in and check up on it if you want. So
You're making me feel a little bit uneasy here.
So that's why I say, by me, you really don't own it. Yes, it's yours. It's all about you. The organization does their best to protect it and make sure that your best interest is in their mind as far as just data protection. But if a breach happens within their walls on their systems, unfortunately, there's very little that you can do about that.
That's really reassuring. That makes you feel really good inside. So when it comes to that data control, is there anything that organizations might do to, what did you say earlier? We were talking about word jumble. scramble it or to
encrypt it?
Yes, yes. Do you know any methodologies that are often used or some techniques that organizations may take in order to help a person like myself who now has a pit in their stomach about not controlling my data or being able to check in on it? What makes me feel more reassured that that data is, if it gets into the wrong hands, isn't necessarily going to be just an open book for whomever has it?
Right. So the great news is that, when I speak directly to healthcare, that anytime your information is transmitted, we say over the wire or through a network, it is encrypted.
Okay.
So, anytime the information leaves from computer A to computer B, goes out over the internet, even emails, all that is required by law to be encrypted. As your information sits on the system in their organization, I'm about to get technical with data.
Let's go there. If you want to go there, lead me, because I'm gonna be honest with you, that's gonna be your realm more so. This is like when you gotta follow somebody in their car because they gotta take it to the shop. You lead the way and I'm gonna follow. Gotcha. You just put the blinkers on for me, okay?
Understand. So all that information must be encrypted on the systems, on the storage that's in their facility. So in the event that someone does get access to those systems, all that data should be encrypted by default.
Okay, so I just had a thought. Mm-hmm. So people have talked about the super secret language of Pig Latin.
Okay.
So that would be a form of encryption, right? Or encryption K.
I would say that's more like a simple level of encryption.
But it works, right?
It does.
Okay,
work.
so stick with me here because I'm trying to connect the dots in my head. Right. So if that's a form of encryption, that would tell me that there would be possibly more layers or different difficulties to encryption. Is that a safe assumption?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, what can you tell us like some more information about the different difficulty levels or styles of encryption that exist?
I can't get very deep into it. Obviously, there are different methods that you can take part in. To make sure that your information is
What about our cell phones? Because we know that's a common place for our information. Is there something we can do to our cell phones to
encrypt the data?
Yes.
There is.
Okay.
It will require additional software that you can download. I don't know the name of one off the top of my head. I'm thinking if Samsung encrypts your data.
You're a Samsung man, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been thinking about iPhones here lately, but it's
that closed network makes it a little bit harder to develop, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's a factor, but Apple they really doing it.
Right, but I do believe that the cell phone manufacturers are making strides to do some type of local encryption. But again, it doesn't really matter if they have your passcode.
And that goes back to that password regeneration or currently turning it over. So let's talk about the passwords real quick. Now, I personally know that there are a number of passwords that are commonly used, ABC123, password, things of that nature. Do you have any recommendations for the creation of a good, safe, and secure password for individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. I would stick with using more of a passphrase. Usually there is, sometimes...
You said password, now you're going to change the game on?
Yeah, passphrase is more than one word.
You got to lead me to water, because all you said was, you thirsty? Well, there's a drink around the way. I don't know how to get there.
Right. So a passphrase would be, my favorite color is blue, but maybe you could capitalize a few of those letters. Yep, it is.
My favorite. I'm not even going to count them all. That's just way too much to me typing all the time, though.
Hey, you have to do it. You have to do it these days.
Okay, so you're saying like make a whole sentence, a whole speech.
Yeah. I wouldn't go crazy. It didn't have to be, like 16 words or anything.
Okay, I'm trying to understand what should I do to help me remember. So 3 or 4 words, like a C-spot run type deal.
Yeah.
That's like something that you can remember. But are there any elements that you would suggest an individual stay away from? Maybe birthdays or home address or kids' names or something like that? Absolutely.
Anything that's personal to you that can be commonly found in the internet, in the wild. Anyone who knows you.
So like your high school mascot. Your current pet's name.
Correct.
Your personalized license plates, if you got it like that. Things of that nature.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, I mean, we've kind of run a marathon in a really short amount of time. It seems like the security piece goes pretty deep. Are there any elements that you know for certain that friends and family seem to hit you up for all the time, say, hey Aaron, I got this computer thing. Can you help me out with it?
Here recently, it seems like everyone wants to upgrade their old 7-year plus computers.
7's not that old, is it?
It is, especially with the way things have evolved from a technology standpoint, and the price is going down quite a bit.
Okay,
so they
get me caught up, because I thought if you could just upgrade, your Windows or your what is that? Well, I don't know what Apple uses. Just your operating system on Apple, you would be good to go. Is that not the case?
No, not anymore. The software, the latest operating systems have higher hardware requirements.
Okay.
Basically, it demands more from your hardware.
Okay.
So the PC that was fine in 2010, 2012, even 2014 will have a hard time running today's latest operating
this is
system.
like being a person wanting to go do a marathon who doesn't done the conditioning.
Absolutely.
So you're just asking too much. They're just not capable of going that. What is a marathon distance? What is it? 24. 23.2 or something like
man,
that. I'm not doing it.
I don't run, so I don't know.
I got a car, I got a bike, I got a skateboard, I got roller skates,
Exactly.
and if it's that far, I'll order it on Amazon.
That's my go-to.
Yeah, you and me both.
I need my computer to run fast enough to access Amazon.
Well, truth. So there's your benchmark, people. If you can't run Amazon, you might need to go ahead and upgrade the actual hardware of your devices that are available to you. So we've covered your actual cell phone device and the resources that go along with it. We touched a little bit on the individual's personal computers and the things that go along with it. We touched on encryption. Are there any other elements that you feel that the average individual just has to know about with security that they may not necessarily be able to access on the everyday adventures that they go on?
Free internet is not good internet. So you
No, time out. Free 99 is my favorite price.
Yeah, it is good for the moment, but just about all of your freely accessible, publicly accessible internet connections, be it Starbucks, McDonald's, the airport, they are all open, meaning that they are not secure. So any activity that occurs on that wireless network can be viewed by people with bad intentions. So if you are on a free public internet and you want to go to banking sites, check out your medical history, just share any type of personal information. Just keep in mind that your information could be spied upon by individuals who may be looking for information. And that also goes to hotels too.
So you can't go to the hotel, you can't go to the Starbucks, you can't go to the McDonald's. Well, I guess I'm going to have to start paying for it again, huh?
Either that or purchase VPN software, which we would say for a different.
So you just going to throw that out there like it's nobody's business, huh? Okay, so VPN, whatever that is.
That basically allows you to have an encrypted connection over the free internet, the free Wi-Fi.
So now we got so this is like Inception. We got a layer on top of a layer, huh?
Oh man, it can get deep. But unfortunately, a lot of people really aren't exposed to these type of topics or risks as they are,
So we got Inception, internet, we got risk associated with it. You know what? I hate to do this to y'all, but we're going to have to save those conversations for next time. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Aaron Brooks. I appreciate your insight and your wisdom in this process.
Oh, absolutely welcome.
I have tried to do my best to translate it to our audience as best I can. And being Mr. Security Awareness, it ain't always that easy. So I apologize if we glossed over or we didn't go deep enough. But seems like we're gonna have some future episodes or renditions to get into VPNs and the Inception type deal with the internet, whatever that may entail.
And if any of these topics, you want us to dive deeper on, leave a comment, something. And we'll read those comments and make it a topic.
Perfect. Now, are there any ways that if people they want to reach out to you specifically that we should include?
No.
We just
talked about all those security issues and risks. I'm not a big social media guy, so I'm more of a spectator.
Okay.
Than active participant in that sport.
All right. So here's what I'll do. What I'll say is that since we have this in-person connection. And
Yes.
I'll let the people relay through me,
Yes,
and they can get
please.
to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can contact me, Mr. Security Awareness. You can get me on all your social medias, on Facebook, on what else is Twitter, Instagram.
Gram.
Yep, the Gram.
On the
I'm
Gram.
on there too. Just search for Mr. Security Awareness. That should get you in the ballpark. Hopefully, the facade here that I present will be recognizable to you. So, until next time, we have technology in motion, and we'll get with you next time. All right. Thanks.